Today we're going to paint a watermelon, and this is going to be a especially easy one, so very appropriate for the little children, but we can also make it interesting enough for grown-ups and the older children too. We're going to start by putting 2 dots on the piece of paper, one near the top but 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch away, one near the bottom 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch away. Then we'll take this bottom one, we're going to lightly put in a pencil mark that's just a big smile shape, a big curve that doesn't touch either side. This is just to establish where our slice of watermelon is going to go. Now comes the part that is going to make it really easy to have nice sharp lines for the edges of that watermelon. That is, we're going to use some tape. It can be regular masking tape, can be painter's tape like I have here. If you're desperate and you use what you have at home, it could be Scotch tape. You just want to make sure it's a tape that you're going to be able to remove from the paper without tearing the paper. So it's going to go from that dot to the end of the curve, and from this dot to the end of the curve. So it makes a big V shape like that. You want to run your finger down the edge on the inside here so that it's nice and tight against the paper, that the paint is not going to leak out there. So then we're going to think about watermelon. Watermelon has a real green edge on the rind, and then it's kind of yellow and white, and then the red starts. We're actually going to put the yellow in first. And we're going to choose the yellow. If you have 2 yellows, choose the one that's leaning more towards a green than towards an orange. And we're going to put it in close to that smiley curve, but not quite right on it. Make it about 1/2 inch wide, edge to edge, like that. Clean your brush then, and find some green paint. And while that yellow is still wet, come in with some green paint. I notice I didn't put a lot of water in here. I want a lot of pigment this time. This time I'm going to run right down and cover that line that I have from both sides. And you'll see it's bleeding into the yellow a little bit. We want that to happen because that's the way it happens in real life with watermelons. Now, before we start putting the red in on the top, we want to think a little bit about having some seeds in there. If you're really good, you can just avoid painting where the seeds go. But if you're a bit of a beginner, you may want to mask some seeds by tearing some little pieces of tape in odd shapes, triangular or diamond, something like that. And actually taping off some places where you want the seeds to go. Sometimes the seeds follow a smiley pattern too. And then occasionally there's an oddball 1 or 2 other places. And you notice I'm not real perfect in my seed shape there. We can go back and fix the exact shapes later on. But this will be so that we'll reserve some white there, and we can paint the red with great abandon. Now I'm going to start the tip of my watermelon as being a little bit pinker. I've got a pink and I've got a red. I'm going to start a little bit pinker on the top and have lots of water in there. I'm going to clean my brush and come in and get some red. I'm going to sort of mix it with the pink and then draw more red coming down. Now, I'm not going to go all the way down to the yellow. I want to leave some space, but I do want to get past all of these seeds. And you're going to go, make sure you're going all the way to the edges of the blue tape everywhere. So the blue tape is completely surrounded like that. Okay? So now I've left a thin white line between the yellow and the red. But I don't want that hard edge of yellow and that hard edge of red. So I'm going to come in with a wet brush. And first on the yellow, because I did it first and it's likely getting drier already, I'm going to scrub, lightly scrub that whole line, and then I'm going to come in and scrub, scrub, scrub the red so that there'll be a natural transition from one color to the next. And I may need to add some red after that because it seems to have lost a little bit of its redness. We still want there to be a smiley edge to the red, but now it's floating slowly into the yellows and greens and the white. So now we have to let it dry a little bit. So I'm going to turn my camera off and you can take a little pause while this dries. Okay, so my paint has been drying for about 20 minutes, and I think at this point it's going to be safe to take the tape off. You do have to be very careful when you're taking the tape off. You want to pull it away a little bit of an angle. Look at that nice edge there that it's leaving behind. This 45-degree angle helps to not tear the watercolor paper. If you're pulling the tape away and it does start to tear, stop and do the tape from the other end, and do it very, very carefully. And if you do end up tearing some of the paper, then what you have to do is get creative and take some paint and work that tear into the picture somehow. Doesn't that leave some nice, beautiful, sharp lines? Okay, now we're going to lift off each of these little bits that was for reserving some white for a seed. They don't look much like seeds yet, but that's okay. Oop, the paint snuck under the edge of that one. I must have not had it down very hard. Usually where it sneaks under the edge, it also doesn't dry very well. So I'm going to find something here to dab at it with so that it's not going to smear all over on me. Yeah, see how some of that has come off? That's okay. I just don't want it smearing while I'm painting. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add some more red in, and this time we're going to go around each one of those in a little teardrop kind of a shape to indicate what's going to be the little black seed. So, leaving a little teardrop shape in each one of them, like that. And you know what, if you got too close together, sometimes you can go like that, except there, I lost my edge. There we go. Some are big, some are small. Now they're more natural shapes. But I've got these big O's around the edge there, so I need to do some filling in. I'm sort of not getting too close to those edges because I don't want to mess up the pretty edges. But you can add quite a bit of red, and it can vary quite a bit. Sorry about that. Quite a bit on how dark it is in some places and how light it is in other places. Don't come too far towards your nice drifty bottom colors because you put a lot of work into getting those just right down here, and they are rather beautiful. So now we're going to come in with some black and put a little bit of black by those seeds. You can either wait for a while for this to dry, or you can be careful with your brush depending on how accustomed to using a brush you are. So I'm going to put a little oval inside those. I don't mind a little bit of drift. I'd like to leave a little bit of white in most of them. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Doesn't always work. Okay, so those are pretty good, except they're not very dark. So I'm going to come back and get some more pigment and just touch it in each of those places. And there we go. Sometimes the seeds in watermelon are incredibly black. Sometimes they're just kind of gray. Sometimes they're even sort of white. So whatever works for you is going to be fine and look realistic. Now, if you're working with a kindergartner, this might be about as far as they're going to go with it. If you're interested in taking it to another level, you can make this three-dimensional. And you can do that by taking a little bit of red, come back at an angle there, try and repeat the same angle here, come down the edge like that, leave some spaces. This time, instead of masking, we're just going to leave some spaces with seeds. Go ahead and leave just the tiniest bit of white down the edge there, where it changes from being the side to being the back, because oftentimes the cut edge will catch the light that way. Now it gets a little harder towards the bottom. We have to replicate the green and the yellow. Like before, we'll start with the yellow. So a little bit in the middle there. Clean your brush real good. A little green. That's that crisp edge right there. And we're going to have a little bit of green drifting up and touching the yellow. Clean your brush. And we're going to use a little water to make the red drift down and the yellow drift up. Okay, so now you have a three-dimensional slice of watermelon. I'm going to give this a little bit darker on the very edge there because I lost my darkness. There we go. Now, if you want to go even a level beyond that, you might want to give this picture a background. And I'm thinking, without getting too close to what's wet here, we can put in a little background as if there are more slices of watermelon. So I'm coming in with clean water. I'm not quite getting close to touching it. Staying a quarter of an inch away from that edge, but putting in sort of a big, thick row of clean water across a stripe here. And what I'll do is I'll just sort of put upside down V's in the red within that stripe and fill them in a little bit. Once again, not getting too close to the edge of what I've already painted. I don't want to wreck what I've painted. And this background is not intended to be very precise. It's intended to just sort of suggest that there's more watermelon back there. Then I'll give it a little stripe of yellow on the bottom. And then I'm going to go a little bit away from the yellow and give it a thin line of green. Little thin green, little thin green. That one there, that one there. Now it still needs some seeds. Oh, and the side needs its seeds too, so we're going to go back with our black. Put some seeds in the side there. And just a few random touches very softly. And it doesn't matter if those background ones float away a little bit. And I lost the shape up here somehow. I'm going to try coming in with a clean brush and wiping away some of that water that drifted up there so that I keep my shapes. And I think what I can do is with a fairly dry brush and just a tiny bit of paint, give myself better tips again on each of these. There we go. Looks like a group of watermelon, and now I might come and try and get a little closer here. Just close enough to show that they're hiding behind that piece. There you go. So, anybody hungry for watermelon? I sure am. I want you to thank you for painting with me today. Remember to sign your painting and to write on the back or on the front somewhere the date or your age or something that will indicate when you painted it, because you're going to have fun looking back at it later and seeing how your painting skills have progressed. Post your art. I'd love to see it. Thanks.